Hey guys, it's Hunter. Welcome back to another episode of Askgufish. Real quick, before we get into it, the merch shop is back. It was gone for a while. I was trying to figure out a better way to keep everything in stock and to ship out to you guys quicker while still keeping the same quality. So the super soft tri-blends are back. I love these shirts. They're so comfortable. This time we've also got super soft lightweight hoodies, regular hoodies, just in time. It's starting to get colder. And now you can get high integrity mugs too. Merch is one of the best ways to support the channel. The link will be in the description. Get it while it's hot. And with that, if you go on to enjoy the video, gracefully seduce the like button with a tap or whatever you're feeling. It actually really helps out with the algorithm. And with that, let's jump into your questions. Cherry asks, thoughts on the new Omens album by Lamab of God. P.S. Will we ever get a gear review of Will Adler's and or Mark Morton's signature guitars? Man, so I've been on a huge Lamb of God kick. Again, just saw them for the first time a couple weeks ago and got to watch from backstage left, and holy fuck, it was insane. So yeah, I have been listening to the new album Omens a lot. First time through, I thought it was pretty good. It was kind of what I was expecting from Lamb of God. Heavy as shit, but still groovy as hell. They have a strong signature sound that's very present on the record. But it was when I got to that last track, September song, which they released in October. It's fucking anarchy. But anyways, I got to the last track and it blew my mind. That's all I'm gonna say. Just listen to it. And it made me go back and listen again to the album in its entirety. And it took that second listen, but I'm hooked on it now. And the new drummer is using the modern metal explosion snare. Sounds so good, especially on like Ditch. That's my favorite one right now.
I don't give a god!
But legitimately, I like the entire record. They're one of my top 3 favorite bands of all time. They're so solid. If you haven't listened to it yet, listen to it. And if you have listened to it already, what do you think of Omens? And then for your second question, not the $9,000 ESP one, and I totally thought the price was closer to $5,000 before I looked up the price. That's insane. But I have done a video on Willie Adler's LTD WA600. Great guitar. The design is a bit extra, but the bare maple neck is great. Still waiting for them to release an updated LTD signature that actually has his signature pickups. Come on, guys. It's been like 5 years. Now, as for Mark Morton, he's with Gibson now. He'll definitely have a signature Les Paul at some point with the signature Dominions, and there's no way I'm missing out on that, especially if it's got the thin 70s V3 neck. I don't think that's anywhere close to being finished though. As far as I know, he's not even playing prototypes. So the answer is I'm gonna try, but there's literally nothing to report for either of them Virginia boys right now. But I can report something on today's sponsor. Established Titles. And Established Titles is based on the historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to lords or ladies. Established Titles lets you buy plots of at least 1 square foot of dedicated land on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, so you can officially obtain the title Lord whatever, Lady whoever. It's a fun, novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. And this is a title you can actually use. You can put it on airplane tickets, Costco memberships, credit cards, Starbucks orders. And one of my favorite things, they support global reforestation, working with organizations like One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future. So, for every order, a tree gets planted. In fact, with Trees for the Future alone, they've planted over 2 million trees globally. That's great for us guitarists because guess where wood comes from? Makes for a memorable last-minute gift, especially for those hard-to-shop-for friends. It's a fun way to support environmental conservation. So head on over to establishedtitles.com/Agufish or click the link in the description. The first 200 people to claim title packs using my link will reserve plots of land right next to mine, so that's kind of cool. Right now they're running a big Black Friday sale, and if you use the code Agufish, you can get an additional 10% off. So there's never been a better time to snag your lord or your ladyship and plant some trees. Plus, clicking the link supports the channel by letting them know that I sent you. And while you're checking that out, let's get back into your questions. Swag Jesus asks, 7-string signature Harley Benton when? Bro, we're still trying to just navigate the supply chain and transportation show to get V2 out. It has been, to put it mildly, a giant pain in the scrot. But I do listen to you guys a lot, which is why I'm pushing really hard for lefties at launch. We've got a baritone version on the way, so with that in mind, legitimately, how much interest is there in a 26.5-inch 7-string version of the Signature? Definitely not for this run, but if there's enough actual interest, and I'm not promising anything because all the focus is on this run, but that is something we can do in the future. So yeah, let me know down below how many people actually want a 7-string. Number 1 Breaking Benjamin fan asks, what was your favorite Spiritbox song you've listened to? Right, I told you guys to keep me accountable to stay up to date with modern metal, so thank you very, very much for this question. And Spiritbox are very good. They're very, very good. My favorite heavy track is Yellow Jacket with Sam Carter of Architects, and I still need to listen to their new album. But yeah, from the first riff, it hits so stupid hard. My absolute favorite one so far, though, is their ballady one, Circle With Me. Ballady with a big, stupid, scrapey breakdown in the middle. Love it. Big recommend if you're like me and you're late to the Spiritbox party. Marcus, in parentheses, has chronic gas, don't we all? How was your first Halloween as a father? Oh my god, I'm still getting used to that, but it was awesome. We had a space theme going on, and Frida Sophia was a NASA Commander Peanut. Couldn't trick or treat because babies can't have candy, and everybody knows who the candy's really for if you do. But took her to the Atlanta Symphony. They were doing a Halloween special for kids. Super funny. If you looked into the crowd, it was like one giant bowl of ADD. But yeah, and this last month-ish, I had the honor of meeting 2 of my childhood guitar heroes, Matt Hafey of Trivium and Mark Morton of Lamb of God. And like, we talked about guitars and stuff, obviously, but it was also cool because both of them are dads too, and we talked about that. And I don't know, it's kind of surreal. It's like talking to childhood guitar heroes as fellow dads. Did not see that one coming ever. And Mark Morton said being a girl dad is the best. And don't get me wrong, I'm tired as shit. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, that was my Halloween. That was yours. Phoenix Blue asks, I know you said you're not much into pedals, but thoughts on the new CHUG pedal by Solar? Ola has essentially trademarked the word CHUG. Insane. And honestly, I don't care, but I do care a little bit because it's Ola and it says CHUG on the pedal. I'm into that. The enclosure is all metal, very on brand. It's got a noise gate. That's a cool feature. I don't know. I get the appeal. Like for $200 you add an additional voice to your amp. Ola makes it sound cool. It seems to do what it says literally on the tin. Just personally, I can't get into them. They just don't have the sexy factor that big tube amps do. But that leads us nicely into the next section. Let's talk about the releases of the week. Keep this on your radar. Solar aren't the only ones to release a preamp pedal this week. Soldano has released one as well. It's modeled after the legendary SLO 100, so it's got the same cascading gain structure and everything. So I've never come across a preamp pedal that gets you an identical sound to the corresponding 100-watt amp because there's so many parts in the amp working in conjunction to get that final sound. But an SLO 100 is a $4,000 tube amp. This pedal is $230, so from that perspective, if it gets you close, that's a decent deal. They actually asked me if I wanted to demo it, and I'm like, you probably want someone who's passionate about pedals to demo it instead, like Pete Thorne, and he makes it sound pretty damn good. Then again, in Reverb's comparison video, it sounds like it's lacking a lot of the depth and low end of the real amp, which is expected. But I don't know. What do you guys think of this one? Glenn Fricker has also entered the pedal melee with the signature Revv pedal. And okay, if there's one pedal that would tempt me, it's this, the Northern Mauler. It's a 2-in-1 distortion pedal, and one circuit is voiced to be an updated homage to the HM2. And if you're not familiar with the legendary Heavy Metal 2, it sounds bad. It's this harsh, grating chainsaw to the eardrums, and it's so bad that it's kind of awesome. It's an objectively terrible sound, and it's the defining sound of Swedish death metal. And it's about time someone showed it some respect. Like, I'm so glad this pedal is not another goddamn Tube Screamer clone. Then the other circuit is more of a normal Revv voice, tight, punchy, one of the best in the business for modern metal. So they're almost complete opposite distortion sounds, and you can use them individually or you can blend them together. That's a really cool idea, to be able to blend the chainsaw sound with the smooth and tight Revv high gain sound. I mean, Revv, if you want to do something similar with the Metal Zone, hit me up. I don't like pedals, but I'm all for chaotic energy. EVH also has a new Stripe series, the 78 Eruption. This is sick. It's kind of an updated remaster of one of the custom parts casters that Eddie Van Halen put together. Originally, he took a guitar, slapped a humbucker in there, refretted the neck, lifted a brass nut and tailpiece from a 58 Strat, and gave it the striped motif. And this is kind of a modernization of that guitar because it retains a lot of the same parts. It's just a lot less janky. Love the big 70s headstock and the gold logo. It's also got standard EVH features like the Bourne's low friction pot, compound fingerboard radius, spoke wheel truss rod. Then they've reliced it to give it that comfortable played in feel. Overall, I just really love the vibe. Like when a guitar is so obviously hot rodded to do something it was not originally designed to do. Interesting how it's got a tremolo that isn't a Floyd. It's a vintage style Strat bridge. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about this one. I love the vibe, even if I'm not totally in love with the price. Then EVH dropped a couple of new Wolfgang Exotics. These already had roasted maple necks and fingerboards. Now they've added laurel burl and poplar burl to the collection. These are pretty cool because $6.99 with exotic tops, oiled roasted maple neck with a compound 12 to 16 inch radius roasted maple fingerboard is pretty good value for money in today's guitar market. Floyd Rose Special though, I mean, at that price, you can always replace it, I guess. Then the only other big drop this week was Fender's Player Acoustasonic Jazzmaster. Yay? Comes in antique olive, two-color sunburst, ice blue, and shell pink. The general vibe I have is people are pretty Acoustasonic out at the end of 2022. Like, the first one dropped a couple of years ago, and it was a cool concept. Thin hollow body with the Strat outline, so it was an acoustic, but with the feel of an electric. The real selling point, though, was the multitude of sounds you could get from the instrument with 3 pickup systems. A magnetic noiseless bridge pickup to get traditional electric sounds, a Fishman undersaddle pickup, and a body top acoustic pickup. Use them individually, blend them together, seems like a great, versatile concept for singer-songwriters or session musicians. Interesting experiment. I really wonder if they need so many of them though, launched in such a short period of time. You know, you got the Strat, you got the Tele, you got the Jazzmaster, import versions of all of them now. I'm always of the opinion that more consumer choice is never a bad thing, and maybe it's because I'm not part of the singer-songwriter world, but when these were initially launched, there was a fair amount of interest in them because it was something new and novel. Since that initial launch though, I genuinely have not heard anyone asking for more variations. That being said, the Jazzmaster is the best Acoustasonic shape. It's nice that they're now more affordable, and the ice blue one looks pretty awesome with the natural wood, so maybe I'll finally get around to making a video on one. I don't know, man, torn on this one, but that's it for new releases. What do you think of these? And now we're approaching the end of the video. If you're looking for more, in case you missed it, PV has kind of shadow dropped their revamped 6505s. It's the first update to the line in nearly 2 decades. The 6505 1992 original replaces the 6505, and the 6505-2 replaces the 6505 Plus. It's a stupid naming scheme, I know, we move. The main difference with the new ones is the transformers, which according to PV were different in the block letters, and that's where a lot of the block letter mysticism comes from. And I don't know, but the 6505-2 sounds beefier than my 6505 Plus, so check it out for yourselves. Make your own call if you haven't already. Then this week I uploaded what was supposed to be a quick, fun video that then turned into an epically long, fun video. A definitive Epiphone tier list, ranking 80-ish Epiphones from the last few years. We've checked out a ton of Epiphones on the channel together. I've even heard from a new Epiphone exec that they learned a lot about the brand before joining from videos on the channel. And there's been a lot of questions like, what do you think of this Epiphone versus that Epiphone? Is this Epiphone worth picking up? So I thought I'd make a whole video exploring the topic. It got wildly out of hand. Some controversial rankings for sure. Definitely go check that out. And if you missed either of the last 2 episodes of ASKgufish, we first talked about Dave Mustaine's prophecy and Kramer's signature leaks, the Fender Vintage 2 series, and how the Gibson pickup shop could be a game changer. Then we talked more Mustaine, his custom shop signatures, the super modern Sterling Saber, and new Harley Benton Fusion colors. Roasted maple and stainless steel frets for $400 is still undefeated in the budget space, and these are some of their best colors yet. And they dropped a couple of sub $200 guitars with roasted maple necks as well. Unreal. Links to all those in the cards or in the description. But that will do it for this week's episode of AskGufish. Massive shout out to the patrons who make this and all the other content possible. If you want to support the channel as well and get bonus extras, a link in the description. You can also join as a channel member to get custom emoticons. Social media, merch, and Discord server links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. You've been awesome, and I will see you for the next video.